Welcome in, everybody. Hope you all had an awesome weekend, whether you were with friends, family, loved ones, or you were just taking a little me time, giving yourself some self-care and self-love. I hope you're all in good spirits, ready to attack this new week and ready to jump into this Monday. Obviously, as you may know, I am here to give you my top 5 MLB betting picks for the day. Whether you came from the sub box, whether you searched and found the video, it popped up in your recommended, whatever it was, I appreciate all of you being here. Put a little PSA out there, hit that subscribe button. I'm putting out my 5 favorite picks damn near every single day, as I so often say on this channel. And yeah, I promise you'll want to be locked into that. We got a lot of engaging and exciting content on the way. To everybody that's been leaving comments on the videos, I appreciate all of you, sincerely. I love interacting with pretty much all of you. You guys are leaving me your picks. You're telling me which one of mine you like and don't like. We're talking about things we've got going on in our personal lives. You're giving me encouragement even on the bad days. You guys are the real MVPs. But to the 1%, the small margin of people that want to talk smack in the comments, say this guy's picks effing suck, this guy's stupid. Look, I understand that it's disappointing when the picks don't hit. Guess what? I don't feel great either. I actually bet these games, shock and surprise. So I lose money on days where my picks don't hit. I understand it's not the best feeling in the world, but guess what? It's a part of the process. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. And I'll just put this out there, this little bit of information. I've been keeping track of our ROI and our units for the past 2.5 weeks or so of the show. Notably, this does not include that enormous winning streak that I went on, does not include that winning streak, and yet we still have over a 250% ROI on the picks on this channel. So look, if more than doubling your money, if coming close to tripling your money sucks to you, then honestly, I don't know what you need to do. Go be on Wall Street or go trade with Nancy Pelosi and the other members of the United States government, because clearly you've got some inside knowledge that I don't, or maybe you're just living in that so raven. Maybe you can predict the future. But whatever it is, to those guys talking smack, I hope you guys are able to succeed and thrive with your picks, because I'm doing pretty well with mine. And without further ado, pick 5, win 5. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else in between. Welcome back to my daily betting show, where it is my job to give you my 5 favorite plays in the sports betting world. We did not have the greatest of weekends. Of course, some picks that I probably was on the wrong side of, and then some just unforeseen events. How can you expect the Cubs, the highest scoring team post All-Star break, to come out and lay a goose egg against a bad pitcher in Steven Matz and the Cardinals? Things like that you can't predict. Of course, we absolutely nailed the Orioles pick. We got that one right. We were optimistic for the Nationals at plus 245. They ultimately didn't show up. Maybe it is the Nationals. Maybe you can say you should expect that at the end of the day. But I did think the Mets were going to be a little rattled with the Scherzer and Robertson trades. Maybe Verlander on his way out of town. But you know what? The past is the past. We're never going to be back at it. We're never going to be able to hold on to it again. All we have to look forward to is the future. And the future of today are these 5 picks that I have lined up for you guys. And we're going to start it off with the Tampa Bay Rays money line versus the New York Yankees. I've been diving extra deep into the research and information. Hopefully, obviously, we get a winning day today. And you know what? We're starting off with this Rays pick for a reason. I'm feeling pretty good about it. On the mound in this one for the Yankees, it will be Domingo Germán, who's 5-7 with a 4.77 ERA and a 1.09 WHIP, going against Tyler Glasnow, who's 4-3 with a 3.36 ERA and a 1.13 WHIP. Now, Germán has given up 3+ earned runs in 5 of his last 7 appearances. He has a 7.12 ERA during that stretch. He's also given up 2.5 home runs per 9 innings. That is an awful lot. I know you think the Rays offense has disappeared lately, but the Rays still lead the American League in home runs per at bat. Shout out to Greg Peterson. You can find him on at GUnit on Twitter. Great read there. Very informed guy. Sports betting industry expert, somebody that I do a lot of work with on VSiN. He's to thank for that information. Glasnow, let's flip in the script here. Glasnow, I was talking about Germán has given up 3+ earned runs in 5 of his last 7, while Glasnow has only given up 3+ in 1 of his 11 starts so far this season. The Rays are also starting to find their ways at the plate again. They've scored 4+ runs in 4 of their last 5 outings. They just had an 8-2 win over a very good team, and I've completely forgotten who the team was. Was it the Astros? Was that who it was? Yeah, it was the Astros. Okay. Sorry, just had to check my ESPN tab. The Rays beat the Astros 8-2 the last time we saw them on the field. Now, the Rays also, I know we think of the Yankees as having a terrific bullpen, and they do, but ever since the start of June, a couple of months ago, the Rays have the best bullpen ERA in the American League. With the power of Glasnow compared to Herman, and then also the Rays having a comparable, if not better, bullpen than the Yankees, we are going to look to them to get this money line win for our first pick of the show. For my second pick here, and this is the first of 4 straight plus money bets, I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Reds money line versus the Chicago Cubs. On the bump in this one for the Reds, it will be Andrew Abbott, who's 6-2 with a 1.90 ERA and a .96 WHIP, going against Marcus Stroman, who's 10-7 with a 3.51 ERA and a 1.20 WHIP. Now, I have been complimentary of Stroman recently, but he's been letting me down. He's got a 7.99 ERA this month, basically an 8 flat. That's obviously not good. Andrew Abbott, even though he did have a 6 earned run outing earlier this month, he still only got a 2.53 for the month. He's also given up 2 earned runs or fewer in 5 of his last 6 starts, 1 earned run or fewer in 4 of the last 6. So he has been dialed in. He continues to look like one of the best, if not the best, really young pitcher in the game. Elly De La Cruz, big name player for the Reds. Last time we saw him, he had a 4-hit game. So he's coming into this full of confidence. The Reds' recent results have also been impressive. They beat the Dodgers in a series. They lose to the Brewers, but that's a division rivalry. They sweep the Diamondbacks, and they win the last 2 games of the Giants series to put them in a nice run of form. They have won 8 of 11 games during that same stretch. Meanwhile, the Cubs have been starting to slow down their offensive dominance. You've heard me pick the Cubs in recently days. I've been talking about they've scored more runs than any team coming out of the All-Star break. Their batting average, OBP, all of that is super high. That's starting to slow down a little bit. Over the Cubs' last 3 games, they have only scored 8 runs. Offense is definitely cooling off. The Reds are also excellent on the road. They are 30-23, and considering their record, which I believe is 9 games over 500, for them to be 7 games over 500 on the road shows you how much they do elevate themselves when they are away from home. The bullpens are nearly identical for the season over the last month, over the last 2 months. So if we just think we're going to have the same level of pitching coming down the stretch, I like Abbott over Stroman with how they've been playing recently. And you know what? I do like the Reds offense as of late more than I like the Cubs. So Cubs money line, Reds money line against the Cubs. That's pick number 2. Our third pick, we are going to take the Houston Astros -1.5 versus the Cleveland Guardians. I do pick the Guardians a lot, and while I do think they're a good team, better than most people seem to think of them, I think this is a phenomenal spot to get the Astros here. On the bump in this one, it will be Noah Syndergaard getting to go for the Guardians. He was just traded out of LA. They didn't want him anymore, and for good reason. He's 1-4 with a 7.16 ERA and a 1.45 WHIP, going against JP France of the Astros, who's 6-3 with a 2.87 ERA and a 1.22 WHIP. Syndergaard, in his last 3 starts, he's gone 6 earned runs, 5 earned runs, 6 earned runs. Obviously, that is less than desirable. France has been the opposite. He's been in a very good run of form. He's got a 2.22 ERA this month, and he had a 2.43 last month. He also has not given up a single game of more than 3 earned runs during that stretch, so the last 2 months. Since the All-Star break, the Astros are 3rd in scoring. The Guardians are 11th. But this is the impressive part. The Astros have achieved those numbers in 1 fewer game than the Guardians. So they are significantly outscoring them. They also outrank them in batting average, OBP, slugging, OPS, all the big offensive numbers, home runs as well, I do believe. And neither team has been they haven't been trending in a particular way against the spread. I'm not going to say the Astros they've covered in 8 of their last 12 or anything like that. But I do believe the Astros are a much better team at this point. I feel like they're making that charge, just a game behind the Texas Rangers in the AL West, and they did just beat them in their series. They played head-to-head. I think the Astros are going to look to stay hot, get a big win against the Guardians and against Syndergaard, who has not been good. That is pick number 3. Our fourth pick of the show, I like the Colorado Rockies +1.5 versus the San Diego Padres. On the mound in this one, it will be Seth Lugo for San Diego. He's 4-5 with a 3.52 ERA and a 1.20 WHIP, going against Austin Gomber of the Rockies, who's 8-8 with a 5.83 ERA and a 1.44 WHIP. You've heard me say it enough times. You can't look at the Rockies pitchers' numbers at face value because they play at elevation. There's a lot more runs scored there. However, my boy Gomber, If you are longtime subscribers to the channel, you'll know I have this weird affinity for Austin Gomber. I don't think he's as bad as most people make him out to be. And you know what? He's starting to show it. Over his last 6 starts, he has an ERA of 3 flat. 3 flat. Seth Lugo has been similar during that same stretch, but he hasn't been quite as good. And obviously, with Gomber playing at elevation, his performances are much more impressive. If you look at these teams scoring coming out of the All-Star break, the Rockies are just about a half run per game worse than the Padres are. And because this is +1.5, obviously that puts us in a very decent spot here. Colorado also elevates its play at home considerably compared to how it plays on the road. They're 24-28 at home, while the Padres are 23-29 on the road. So if you just say, if the Rockies only played home games and the Padres only played away games, the Rockies would be the better team based on record, just to kind of put that in perspective. Of course, I'm not saying bet the Rockies to win the World Series, but in just strictly analyzing this matchup, especially with how good Gomber has been lately, we like what the Rockies have been putting together. The Rockies have also been trending upwards as far as their spread record. They are 7-2 over their last 9. The Padres, pretty much the definition of 500, but if you want to look at the last 11, they are 5-6 during that stretch. Colorado's bullpen has also been dialed in lately. They've actually been better than the Padres over the last month of baseball. A lot of positive signs here for the Rockies. I understand they're normally one of the worst teams of baseball, but they're actually decent for a bad team. Let's call them average at home, and I like them at +1.5. +1.5 for plus money, by the way. This is +120 line value, and I think that's pretty awesome. So Rockies +1.5. That is the 4th pick of the show. Now, I've got one final pick here, and guys, I'm about to give it to you, but before I do, I will remind you, subscribe to the channel. I've got all sorts of picks coming out. Like I said, we have come close to tripling our money over the last 2.5 weeks ever since I started keeping track of it on this channel. If that isn't good enough for you, go ahead and click off, find yourself another channel. But if you want to support that, if you want to stay locked in for winning picks, or you just want to support me, hit that subscribe button. I deeply appreciate it. Final pick of the show. It's the Boston Red Sox money line versus the Seattle Mariners. Getting the go in this one for the Sox will be Nick Pivetta. He's 7-5 with a 4.11 ERA and a 1.17 WHIP, going against George Kirby, who's 9-8 with a 3.49 ERA and a 1.08 WHIP. Another very good, very talented young pitcher who's been balling out. Is this his rookie year? I know he played last year, but I don't know if he threw the amount of innings required to make it count as a year. Whatever. Let's go ahead and just move on here. Now, Pivetta started the year a little slow, a little rocky, but he's been getting done either as the starter or in relief lately. This month, he's got a 1.29 ERA. Last month, it was a 2.53. And if you just look at his last 5 games where he went 3+ innings, I believe the max he went was, I know he hit 5. He might have hit 6. I'm not sure. But the last 5 games where he went 3+ innings, he has a 1.72 ERA. So it's not like he can only give you a couple, a 0.1 inning or a 0.2 inning out of the bullpen. He's still been finding his footing when he has been put out there for prolonged stretches. So that's obviously a good sign. Kirby, although I was singing his praises at just 25 years old, he already has elite strikeout ability and good numbers, but he has a 4.25 ERA this month. He had one outing where he gave up 5 earned runs, another where he gave up 6. So teams that have powerful offenses have been taking him for a ride a little bit. And when we're talking about powerful offenses, I understand Seattle has improved its level of play at the plate, but the Boston Red Sox are still a better offensive team. They lead the Mariners in every offensive category. They also the Red Sox do lead the Mariners in post-All-Star scoring despite playing 2 fewer games. They've scored more runs despite playing 2 fewer games. So obviously that is a very good sign, very good reason to latch on to the Red Sox in this situation. The strength of the Mariners is unquestionably their bullpen. It has the 4th best ERA in baseball, but the Red Sox bullpen has the 3rd best ERA in baseball, so you can trust them to get the job done down the stretch. Look, both these teams are playing really good as of late. I think they're both trying to make, they're desperately trying to make wild card pushes, and you know what? It just might happen. The Red Sox in a better position than the Mariners are. Would I rule out Seattle entirely? No, I wouldn't. I think it's too soon. If I'm leaning one way as far as the over-under, I would go under, but I'm confident in the Red Sox getting this one done. So Red Sox money line, that's the 5th and final pick of the show. Let's do the final rundown here. We're going to start it off Rays money line versus the Yankees. Then we've got Reds money line versus the Cubs. 3rd pick is the Astros -1.5 versus the Guardians. Rockies +1.5 versus the Padres. and then the Red Sox money line versus the Mariners. Guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Like I said, I appreciate all of you. I love interacting with the comment section, so leave some comments. Let me know which of these picks you like, which ones you don't like. Subscribe to the channel to be locked in for more future picks. Like the video if you did enjoy. And until next time, I will see you all very soon. Have a great day.